What is the purpose? If it's an intelligent being, it ascribes purpose to whatever it makes. First, what is the purpose? Number two, how do we learn about the creator? We can learn, obviously, from looking at the physical reality, learning that he's powerful, intelligent, what we were disagreeing with already. But that's as far as we can go. We cannot really surpass that understanding, correct? So, what would you say the purpose is? How do we know our purpose? We have to ask our creator. How do we do that?
How do we know the purpose of God?
Yeah, the purpose of us, of our creation. What did the creator create us?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
How do we know that? I think we can infer it from our own experience, like as you said, for example, observing the natural world.
We can.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can
infer God from that. But yeah. I'm saying our purpose. So
our purpose, okay. I mean, I think that the purpose of God was simply to.
Before I let you finish, before we say I think, right? I'm asking on the method of knowing. I'm not asking you whether you know or not. You understand?
Yeah.
So when you say our experience, is your experience like my experience?
No.
So different experiences will lead to different conclusions,
yes,
right? We want to know what our purpose is objectively as ascribed by the creator.
Yes.
The only way we can know that for sure is through the creator. Yeah. That is the only way.
So do you agree with me that our experiences are some sort similar in many aspects?
I would say there is similarities, but I would say that there is a lot of differences, more than similarities.
But there are, I'm not sure, because we know, for example, our consciousness, so for example, we don't know from, if you think about philosophy, we don't know whether my green corresponds to your green, the experience
brain,
of color.
You said?
No, my green, like, when you observe colors, yeah?
Yeah, green, yeah.
So we know, we all have the experience of, we look at different colors, we look at different parts of nature. And for example, color is one of the sensations the human being has in perception. So I'm not sure whether my green correspond to your green, because I can say this is green and call it green, and you can see something different, call it green, and we may agree with the same thing.
But you're actually agreeing with me now.
yeah. But the point I'm making here, to make it simple, is to say that I think that we experience so many things. We got many things in common. Our conscience, I think, is leading us to very similar conclusions. I think, for example, I experience pain, and I'm quite confident that the pain I experience is very similar to yours with respect to, hitting your knee on a tree or whatever. So I think that, for example, when you see a child, and you see someone who is hitting a child for no reason, so a child is not innocent, you start feeling. Everyone will feel bad looking at that. It will feel disgust. So this is our own conscience, and there is nothing. I mean, of course, it depends also on the culture, because, for example, it depends on the culture. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, if you go back in time, the cultural costumes, if you go back, they comes from our genetic inheritance anyway. Because, for example, so some cultural
before we jump into a different topic
let me finish.
About genetics.
Let me finish this, because it's really important. For example, most of the cultures are monogamous, yeah. So you don't have a man who married many women. So I mean, if you look at animals, I would disagree. I mean, there are some animals that are
no. I would disagree. Not only in animals, but in cultures as well.
Okay, but for example, what we can say in most of the culture, for example, homosexuality is...
You know Abrahamic faith, right? You know Abrahamic religions, right?
Yes.
You know how many wives did Abraham have?
Oh, yeah, no. So Abraham had
now we're going back in history, right?
Yeah, Abraham, I mean, according to the biblical account.
Yeah, obviously, according to the biblical
account. Abraham had a wife, and then he had another son with another woman, which I think
that biblical account,
Sarah.
That biblical account is few thousand years, right? 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 years, yeah.
Kind of.
So it is ancient. So I'm not just talking about a biblical account, just it's not ancient, right? Whether it's completely reliable, that's a different discussion, right? This is my point. Abraham had more than wife. Moses had more than wife. According to the biblical accounts now, right? Solomon had 1,000,
Okay, but
300, 700. I'm just trying to give.
The point I was trying to make is that there are certain things or laws, or for example, or moral laws that we take for granted, or maybe it's in society very well accepted, that we say comes from cultural, like common sense. But if you go back, at the end of the day, this common sense, where does it come from? It comes from our own being, our own genetic.
I'm not disagreeing with you that we have common sense, but my question, coming back to my question, right? This was my question, right?
Yeah.
How do we know something? Everything you said right now is relating to the human being.
Yes.
My question is something that is abstract of the human being.
Yeah.
Purpose is attributed to us by something abstract from us. It's not something from me and you. It's the creator. The creator is not you or me, right?
Okay.
The creator created you and me.
Yes.
So I'm asking about the purpose that is being ascribed by that abstract concept, right? So whether you have experience, you have common sense, that's okay, that's all fine, right?
I'm trying to get your point. Maybe your point is trying to say that the creator, in order to know his purpose, he needs to have revealed, basically.
In order to know our purpose.
So our purpose.
Yeah, from him creating us,
yes,
basically.
He should have revealed this to us.
No, you have to ask him. He has to tell you.
He has to tell you.
He has to tell you. You have to communicate in a sense.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will not know for sure.
But wait a second. But what if I do something? For example, I prepare, like for example, I prepare a breakfast for you, with nice biscuits, everything that you like, everything, prepare that, and you ask yourself, so do I need? So what's the purpose of that? And you may come to the conclusion, oh, maybe John or me, or let's say about your mother or whatever, she wanted me to be happy, or she wanted me to enjoy that. Yeah, you don't need your mother to tell you. You can just observe.
Are you comparing
You can just observe.
I understand what you're saying.
In the same way I'm saying, you can observe your universe, so your existence.
Sure.
So you can observe everything around you and come to the same conclusion without having this being telling you straight away.
Are you comparing a mother cooking breakfast in the morning to an objective? I'm trying to say something as well. To the objective purpose of existence of 7 billion people. What I'm trying to say is this, right?
Yeah.
Usually when we make a cake or we make food for someone, the purpose is for someone to eat it. That is usually the purpose of making. Yeah. We already know that.
If we make nicely, is to eat it and to enjoy it.
Yeah. We already know that before the cake being made. That's why we jump to that conclusion.
Yeah.
But I'm asking about something that we don't have prior knowledge of, which is us given purpose. We don't have prior knowledge of that. Normally, God gives purpose to things because of ABC. So is a false analogy if you look at it in that way. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I don't disagree with you that you can come to conclusions by your experience, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that you will know for sure what is your purpose, whether it's objective or not objective, right? You will come to conclusions, I will come to conclusions, my friend will come to conclusions, right? All of these will be different purposes. If someone wakes up one day and he says, you know what, my purpose is to kill, rape, steal, etc., 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 and he says, this is my purpose, this is what God ascribed to me, what are you going to say to that person?
I would say that, so if someone thinks the purpose of God is that, I think we've been, as the man was saying, we've been given a conscience which is able, indirectly, to get to that truth. In the same way,
he was not saying that, obviously.
Let me finish. In the same way, for example, do you think that when Einstein discovered the theory of relativity, E equals C.
Was he sure when he came to his conclusions?
Oh, wait a second. Let me finish the point.
Yeah.
Do you think that when he discovered that, which is a law which describes very well the universe? I mean, it is not complete, but it describes most of the universe and the way the curves behave. And for example, and he make the Newtonian theory better, yeah, because the Newton discovered the gravitational laws, how they work. and then came Einstein.
Was the Newtonian model working as well perfectly?
No, but it was working.
Was it working perfectly?
But it had the power of truth, because if you use the Newtonian model to describe the solar system or whatever, you can explain most of the movement of the corpse. You don't need the Einstein theory in order to explain. But of course,
what's your name, by the way?
Call me JLA. You know,
JLA?
That's my art name. But my name is John. Yeah.
John. Okay, let me call you John. No problem.
Yeah.
Look, John. I think my question is very simple, right?
No, but let me finish the point, because so when they discover, what do you think? Do you think that God told them straight away? So it was a part of the truth, yeah.
If you want me to answer that question,
yes.
What you're talking about is science. Science is coming to conclusion through the natural world, right? Looking, observing the natural world using empirical methods. I'm talking about something completely different. So when they came to that conclusions through empiricism, in the Newtonian model, they thought this is absolute truth, 100%. Then they discover it wasn't, right? So my point is this: you can know something, you think you know it, but it's not true. Then in the future, and that is what science is, right?
Oh, but wait a second. The Quran. So you're basically trying to make this.
Before we go to the Quran, obviously.
No. But if you're clever enough, you got my point.
I haven't got your point.
You should have, because it's very simple.
I'm not clever then. Just tell me your point.
Okay, no, but I think you're clever, so you should have got the point.
It doesn't matter.
The point is that. So you're saying that if someone doesn't tell you the purpose why he created you, you cannot know. That's your claim, yeah?
My claim is, when someone makes something, he ascribes purpose to it. That means if we are created by a deity, we have a purpose.
Yes. Okay.
I'm saying, logically, that purpose must come from the creator of that thing. Right? This is what I'm saying. And I'm saying you can come to conclusions, but it will not be an absolute conclusion.
Oh, yes.
It will be maybe
Agreed.
So this is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes.
Unless he actually communicates with you. If he communicates with you, is it then you're sure 100% absolute?
Okay.
So this is what I'm trying to say. You understand?
That's true.
Okay.
But we agree with that. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's move on.
Yeah, sure.
So you're saying that the Quran is the definite truth.
That's my belief, obviously. That's my the way I accept.
It comes directly from God, yeah? And it's true, perfect, yeah?
What do you mean by comes directly by God first?
I mean, the Quran is thought to be the word of God, like it's sent directly.
Do you know how the Quran came down? What is the history of the...
I'm not very knowledgeable on that topic, but I think that Muhammad wasn't even a literate person.
No, he was illiterate.
He wasn't?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay, so...
He was illiterate.
He walked into a cave, and then Jibril and Allah...
So basically, he received this revelation, and then
what happened, Prophet Muhammad lived with his people for 40 years. Okay, he was known to be the trustworthy, the honest. This was his titles, right? That was what he was known to be in his people. When they had disputes, he used to go to him to solve these kind of disputes, right? Prophet Muhammad used to go and meditate, because he did not believe that you should worship an idol that you make with your own hand, right? Let alone some people actually used to eat their own idols, right? So he thought that this is something you just made with your own hands. This is not worthy of worship or praise or otherwise, right? This is not the creator of everything, right? So he used to go to a cave which was called Ghar Hira, Cave of Hira, yeah? He used to go there and he used to meditate, right? One day in his meditations, we believe that one of the angels of the Lord, right? Angel Gabriel came to Prophet Muhammad and he recited the Quran to him, and he told him to recite. Right? Recite the Quran, right? Prophet Muhammad received the Quran orally, right? From the angel, right? Prophet Muhammad delivered the Quran therefore orally. The people who wrote the Quran was the companions of Prophet Muhammad. So when you say it's from God, I just wanted to clarify what you meant by that, obviously.
Okay.
So it's from God, it's coming exactly that way, right? So yes, I believe the Quran is coming from God that way exactly, specifically.
Okay, in that way. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Sure.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter the way.
Yeah, I'm just explaining, clarifying it.
Okay,
maybe new information for you about it.
No,
problem.
thank you. No, I'm really happy to learn something from you.
No problem.
So I hope you can learn something from you.
Yeah, 100%.
So basically,
that's why I'm here.
So basically, you're saying that unless it reveal in some way himself, his purpose for us.
Our purpose, yeah.
Yeah, our purpose, yeah. How basically, what's the reason why he created us?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's our purpose? We cannot know it for sure. Okay, I agree. I agree with that.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you read the Quran?
Yeah, I just started.
Sure.
Like 2 weeks ago.
In chapter 2, the second verse in chapter 2, it says, "This is the book which there is no doubt a guidance from mankind.
Yeah.
Right? A part of that guidance is telling you your purpose or why you exist, why you're here, what you're doing, right? So how much have you read from the Quran?
I started from the beginning. So
Yeah. Chapter 1?
Yeah, the big chapter 1, and then I went to because I was looking for some. I was watching some debates, and then I think Muhammad Hijab said to look at like I think chapter 50, maybe 50 or something like that. Yeah, what about chapter 50?
Yeah.
From 50 to 57, something like that. So I read a little bit of that one, but I just started. So I'm just curious. I grew up as a Christian, so so I mean, I don't know much about Islam. I'm just starting knowing something.
What conclusion have you come to so far when you have read the part that you have read?
So I published a book in Italy. It's called Distraction of Atheism, and it's very like pretentious book. So I've been living here for 3 years, so my English is not still very.
Yes, okay, that's fine.
But anyway, so I published this book in Italy. I'm a psychologist.
Oh, that's very good.
And my conclusion is that we discovered the moral law in the same way we discovered the laws of physics. So that's why I was trying to make that parallel.
Yeah, but morality is a different concept than the purpose. We can discuss morality.
Yeah, so and in the same way, I think we can kind of come to the conclusion of our purpose, which is something that has to do, is related to the moral realm in a subtle way. I mean, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's related to it.
I'm agreeing. It's related 100%.
I think that rather than us receiving directly revelation from God, or through the angels or whatever.
Why is that not okay? Why is that not a good idea? Why is that not something which will be an absolute certainty of what the Creator wants from you, your purpose on life, whether there is an afterlife or not? That is kind of my question.
Why? So I think that the point you made is true. If there is no a direct revelation or indirect from God,
we will not know for sure.
We cannot if it's true for sure. And I agree with you. And in fact, that's my vision. So my vision is that if you draw a Cartesian plan, so you've got basically an x, y, and an x, and you design a curve. So that in this axis you've got knowledge, and in this axis you've got time. So basically the curve increase. Number one is the truth, and it never touches it. Do you know an asymptote? Asymptote in mathematics.
No.
So basically it's the curve grow.
I get your point anyways.
But never touch it.
I get your point.
So as the knowledge grows, So you
don't agree that the curve goes this way as well? This is my view of this reality.
It could be, but
so it doesn't only go this way; it actually goes this way as well.
Well done. Yeah. I also specify that in the book. I think that he may even do this, but eventually, in time, it tends to increase without never touching the truth. So I think that we never can get to the absolute truth because that's
unless
God revealed it.
This was my point.
Yes. But I don't think it did. And you know why? Do you know why it didn't? According to my
we can analyze, we can know, obviously.
Okay, do you know why it didn't?
No, tell me.
Because I think God wants us to be free. And in order to be free, we cannot have an absolute truth. Only He have the absolute truth. Because by having
I'm not talking about absolute truth at all.
You couldn't be free because you should recognize it for sure. You should take it, and you couldn't have any way to escape it.
Sure.
So if
I kind of agree with you, but disagree in the same time. I'll explain what I mean, right?
Explain.
One of the names of Allah is Al-Haq. Al-Haq means the truth, the absolute truth, right? So we believe Allah is the absolute truth, right?
Yeah.
But
in Himself.
But Allah given you purpose in life, right? Doesn't mean you have the absolute truth. You just have certainty about why you're here, because otherwise you will be a confused being. Otherwise, the Creator, where is the intelligence of the Creator of creating something that He doesn't ascribe purpose to, right? So this is what I'm trying to say as a Muslim, right? We reach certainty regarding our purpose in life. We don't reach certainty about the attributes of God, the shape of God, what God is. All of these things, we believe in the afterlife we will see God. This is what we believe, right? But in this life, we believe the purpose. This is actually coming to the purpose now. We believe the purpose is that we're being tested. So he agrees with what you say. We are being tested whether we will take the pathway of the Creator, or we will take our desires and whims and ignoring completely why the Creator created us, ignoring morality, ignoring all of these things, right? So what you talk about is actually the Islamic perspective. The Quran says, هو الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا.
No problem.
He is the one who created life and death to test you who is better in deeds, right? So it kind of agrees with you with your understanding and morality and what you're saying, right?
And I came to this without reading the Quran.
That's
so
good.
How does it work?
So when you come,
so how can I have this realization without reading the Quran?
You came to that, but you didn't know your complete purpose. That's not only your purpose in the Quran.
No, but
so there is more.
Okay,
so you haven't come to more.
For example, according to Christianity, so God created us on His own image, in the sense that He's pure consciousness and we have consciousness. So basically, we are kind of similar to God in that respect. So we got an attribute of God, which is to be aware of your own existence. So
we have many attributes of God on a low level.
Yeah, but
low level, not His level, like knowledge, understanding, seeing, hearing, all of these things. Yeah.
So according to the Christian worldview, God created us also to have a relationship with Him, in terms of being in contact with Him.
Why is that a relationship?
Okay, so I know that for Muslim is to be servant of God.
Yeah.
And
to be what? Sorry.
To be a servant. Sorry. Servant.
Not only in that sense.
To serve God.
Not only in that sense. So the word actually, which is something that many people need to look at really linguistically. Yeah. The word abd, right? It has two meanings. It can mean servant of God, and it can mean a worshipper of God.
Okay, say a worshipper. Yeah,
it can mean a worshipper of God as well, because it can come from the word abid.
Yeah, according to Christian, God created us also to worship Him. Yeah.
Sure. So not only that, this is still we're not reaching. I'll tell you something. You will know what I'm asking you about if you remember the first verse of the Quran. The first word of the first verse of the first chapter.
To worship Allah and
no,
Muhammad is
first verse. First word.
I don't remember.
This first word is this. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise and gratitude is due to Allah, the creator of the world, right? So Allah, the Lord of the worlds. This is what I want to kind of, it's an example that I want to give, right? You have two hands, you have two legs, you have two eyes, two ears, right? If you go to a forest, there's trees. On these trees you have fruits, vegetables, rain coming from the sky, and these things growing by themselves, right? You're eating. You go to the sea, there's all types of fish that you can imagine in, right? And every different fish has a different taste, right? Even though they're all fish, right? You look under this earth, you find gold, silver, aluminum, you name it, right? If you go to a coffee shop and they give you a free cup of coffee, what are you going to say?
If I go to coffee shop,
you like coffee?
Yes. Yeah.
They give you a free cup of coffee.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Do they need that thanks, or they deserve that thanks? Will it benefit them anything in you saying thank you?
No.
So that means that they deserve that thanks. What about the Creator who gave you everything that I mentioned?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, yeah.
So, Alhamdu, which is all praise to be, this is the ultimate purpose.
Yeah.
God is worthy of praise and worship.
Yes.
A part of His praise is His worship, right? This is what we believe as Muslims. That's why this is the first verse that you find in the Quran. The first chapter, this is the first chapter, we recite 17 times a day, right? So, how can you thank Him? That is the story that I'm talking about. Which way does He like me to thank Him? Which way does He like me to worship? Should I worship like Satanists do, cutting myself? How should I worship God? How should I be grateful?
Do you know I think you should worship God?
You think you shouldn't worship God?
Do you know why?
It depends what you mean by worship.
How I think by worshiping Him, like being gratitude to Him, or
you think you shouldn't be grateful to the Creator? Is that what you're saying?
I agree with you that He doesn't need that.
Yeah.
It's just that.
But He deserves that. This is what I'm saying.
Deserves. Yeah. So I think that if we want to kind of praise God, I think the best way we can do it is to do His will.